The smell hits me first. Gasoline splashed across our front steps, the chemical stench cutting through the cold November air like a warning. My hands shake as I fumble with the keys, little Sophia pressed against my side, her backpack digging into my ribs. Maya? Her voice is small, frightened. She's only 7, but she's learned to read danger in my body language. Why does it smell funny? It's nothing, baby. The lie tastes bitter. I push open the door to our ground floor apartment, pulling her inside quickly. Through the thin walls, I can hear Mrs. Chen's television upstairs, the bass from the Rodriguez family's music 3 doors down. Normal sounds. Safe sounds. Sounds that might not exist tomorrow night. I lock the deadbolt, the chain, the bottom lock I installed myself with a YouTube tutorial and shaking hands. 3 locks. Like that would stop them. The note is where I left it this morning, crumpled on our second-hand coffee table. I'd found it shoved under our door at 6 a.m. when I left for my opening shift at the diner. Block letters, red marker that looked like blood in the dim hallway light. Last warning, Victor wants his money. Tomorrow night we burn you out. $15,000. That's what my sister owed before she overdosed 4 months ago, leaving me with Sophia and a debt to people who don't care that Emma's dead. They just want their money, and when they can't get it, they'll take it out on what's left of her. A 7-year-old girl and the aunt who's barely keeping them both alive. I'm hungry. Sophia drops her backpack by the door, looking up at me with those big dark eyes that are exactly like Emma's. My chest tightens. I know, sweetheart. Let me make you something. Our kitchen is barely big enough for one person. The linoleum is cracked, the refrigerator hums too loud, and the oven only works on 2 burners. But it's ours. Or it was, until Victor's guys decided it wasn't. I make Sophia mac and cheese from a box, the cheap kind because we're down to $43 until Friday's paycheck, and I've already budgeted every penny for rent that's due in 5 days. She eats at our small table, swinging her legs, telling me about her day at school, about the art project she's making, about how Tommy Martinez called her a mean name and she told the teacher. I smile and nod and make the right sounds, but my mind is calculating. Running. Always running through scenarios that don't work. The shelters are full. I called 3 today during my break. My friend Jenna would take us in, but she lives with her boyfriend in a studio, and besides, I won't bring this to her door. Victor's men don't care about collateral damage. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. The police? I tried that 2 weeks ago when they first started coming around. Filed a report. The officer took notes with dead eyes and told me that unless they actually did something, there wasn't much they could do. Verbal threats weren't enough. The gasoline on the steps this morning, that might qualify, but by the time they investigated, processed, maybe arrested someone, it would be too late. Tomorrow night is tomorrow night. I do the dishes while Sophia does homework at the table, her tongue poking out in concentration as she works through multiplication tables. 7 times 8, 9 times 6. Simple math. Not like the impossible equation I'm trying to solve, how to save us both with no money, no options, and less than 24 hours. My phone sits on the counter, screen dark. I've picked it up 17 times today. 17 times I've pulled up that contact, thumb hovering over the call button, before putting it back down. Dominic Santoro. I'm not supposed to have his number. I'm not supposed to know who he really is. I'm supposed to be just another waitress at Santoro's, the upscale Italian restaurant on 5th Street where I picked up dinner shifts 3 nights a week to supplement the diner money. I'm supposed to smile, serve linguine and expensive wine, collect tips, and go home. But 6 weeks ago, I was closing the kitchen when I heard voices in the back office. The door was cracked open, just an inch, enough to see Mr. Santoro, the owner, The man everyone called Sir, with a particular edge of fear in their voices. He was talking to two men in expensive suits, and there was money on the desk. A lot of money. Stacks of it. The shipment comes in Thursday, one of the men said. Your cut is 30%, same as always. Mr. Santoro, Dominic, counted bills with practiced efficiency. Make it Thursday night. I want my guys there for the unload. Last time, half the product went missing before it hit the warehouse. I should have left. Should have backed away quietly, pretended I heard nothing, saw nothing. But my shoe caught on the mat, made a sound, and suddenly his eyes were on me through that cracked door. Dark eyes, cold eyes, the kind of eyes that see everything and forget nothing. Maya. He said my name like he'd been expecting me. Come in. I thought I was dead. Thought I was fired at minimum, disappeared at worst. Everyone knew the rumors about Dominic Santoro, how he owned half the South Side, how the police didn't touch his businesses, how people who crossed him ended up in the river or simply gone. But he just looked at me. This man in his late 30s with perfectly styled black hair and a suit that probably cost more than I made in 6 months. Looked at me with those calculating eyes and said, You work hard, I've noticed. You pick up extra shifts. Never complain. Always on time. I couldn't speak. Could barely breathe. You have a daughter? He asked. Niece, I managed. I'm raising her. Her mother, my sister. She died. He nodded slowly, like this explained something. That's why you work 3 jobs. 2 jobs, sir. The diner and here. 3, he corrected. I know about the weekend cleaning service. You're at the office building on Maple Street, early Sunday mornings. His voice was matter of fact, not threatening, but the message was clear. He knew everything about me, had probably known before I ever applied at his restaurant. The other men had left while we talked. Now it was just us, alone in that office with stacks of money and the weight of what I'd overheard. What you heard tonight, he said quietly, you didn't hear it. Understand? I nodded. Good. He opened a drawer, pulled out a business card, wrote a number on the back in neat, precise handwriting. This is my personal number. You ever have trouble? Real trouble. The kind that needs real solutions. You call me. Consider it a courtesy for your discretion. I took the card with trembling fingers. Looked at the number. Looked at him. Why? Something flickered in his eyes then. Something almost human beneath the ice. Because you remind me of someone. Because you're trying to do right by that little girl. Because good people shouldn't have to suffer alone. He turned back to his desk, dismissing me. Go home, Maya, and remember, you didn't see anything tonight. I've carried that card in my wallet for 6 weeks. The numbers burned into my memory. I've never used it. Never planned to. Because calling Dominic Santoro for help means entering a world I've spent my whole life trying to avoid. It means owing a debt to someone far more dangerous than Victor and his small-time dealers. But now, standing in my tiny kitchen with Sophia humming while she colors, with the smell of gasoline still in my nose, and tomorrow night counting down like a bomb timer, I'm out of options. Sophia needs a bath. I run the water, test the temperature, help her wash her hair with the cheap shampoo that tangles it anyway. She chatters about school, about her friend Amy's birthday party this weekend that she wants to go to. I don't tell her we can't afford a present. Don't tell her we might not be here this weekend. I tuck her into the double bed we share. Our apartment only has 1 bedroom, and I gave it to her, sleeping on the pull-out couch in the living room most nights. Tonight I'll sleep with her, keeping her close, keeping her safe for 1 more night. Maya, her voice is sleepy, soft. Are we going to be okay? My throat closes. I smooth her dark hair back from her forehead, press a kiss there. Yes, baby, we're going to be fine. Another lie. I'm getting good at them. I wait until her breathing evens out, until I'm sure she's deeply asleep. Then I slip out of bed, grab my phone, and lock myself in the bathroom. It's the only place with any privacy, the only place where she won't hear me if this goes wrong. The bathroom light flickers. I need to replace the bulb, but that's on the list of things I can't afford right now. I sit on the closed toilet lid, phone in my hand, that number pulled up on the screen. My thumb hovers over the call button. This is insane. I barely know him. One conversation 6 weeks ago doesn't mean he'll help. Doesn't mean he'll even answer. Men like Dominic Santoro don't take calls from desperate waitresses at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday night. But Sophia is sleeping 20 feet away, and tomorrow night, Victor's men are coming with gasoline and matches, and I have nowhere else to turn. I press call. It rings once, twice, 3 times. My heart pounds so hard I can hear it over the ringing. This was stupid. This was Maya. His voice is deep, calm, like he's been expecting this call, like it's 10 a.m. on a business day, not late on a work night. What's wrong? Not, hello. Not, who is this? He knows my number, has it saved, has been, what? Waiting for me to use that card? Mr. Santoro, my voice cracks. I take a breath, force it steady. I'm sorry to bother you. I know it's late, I didn't know who else to call. Tell me. It's a command, but gentle. The voice of someone used to being obeyed, but not through fear, through respect. The words come out in a rush. Emma's debt, Victor's threats, the gasoline on the steps, the note, tomorrow night. Sophia sleeping in the next room, innocent, 7 years old, about to be burned alive because her mother made bad choices and died before she could fix them. I expect him to interrupt, to tell me this isn't his problem, to remind me that helping a waitress with small-time drug dealer issues is beneath someone of his position. He doesn't. He listens in silence, and somehow that silence feels more substantial than any promises could be. When I finish, my cheeks are wet. I didn't realize I was crying. What's your address? He asks. I tell him. Hear keys clicking in the background. He's on a computer, probably looking it up, confirming. You're on Morrison Street, 3rd floor, apartment 3B. Ground floor, I correct, 1B. A pause. When he speaks again, his voice has changed, harder, colder. Ground floor. Easier access. They were going to trap you inside, burn you from below. The casual analysis of how we were going to die makes my stomach turn. Pack a bag for you and Sophia, he says. Enough for a few days. Someone will be there in 15 minutes to pick you up. What? No, I can't just... Maya. He cuts through my protest. They said tomorrow night, but men like this, they're unpredictable. You've already pushed them by not paying. They might decide tonight is good enough. You and Sophia need to be gone in 15 minutes. Where will we go? My property in the hills. You'll be safe there. His property. His territory. Under his protection, which means under his control, which means owing him. Owing someone like Dominic Santoro. I can't afford... I'm not asking for money, Maya. His voice softens slightly. Consider this handled. Victor and his associates won't bother you again. The way he says handled sends a chill down my spine. I think of the rumors, the river, people who cross Dominic Santoro and are never seen again. I don't want anyone to die because of me, I whisper. They won't die because of you. His voice is matter of fact. They'll die because they threatened to burn a woman and a child alive over $15,000. That's on them. Mr. Santoro. Dominic. He interrupts. When you call me at 10 p.m. terrified for your life, you call me Dominic. A pause. 14 minutes now. Start packing. I need to know what this costs. I force the words out. What you'll want in return. Silence on the line. Long enough that I wonder if he's hung up. Then, We'll discuss that later. Right now, pack. My driver's name is Marcus. Big guy, black. Drives a black Escalade. Don't open the door for anyone else. Okay. My voice is small. Maya? His voice drops lower. You did the right thing calling me. You and Sophia are going to be fine. I promise you that. The line goes dead. I sit there for a moment, phone pressed to my ear, trying to process what just happened. 15 minutes ago, I was alone, desperate, out of options. Now Dominic Santoro, the Dominic Santoro, is sending someone to pick us up, move us to safety, handle the men who want to kill us. The cost of that handling is going to be enormous. It has to be. Men like him don't help waitresses out of kindness. There's always a price. But Sophia is alive and sleeping safely, and tomorrow night we won't be here when Victor's men come with their gasoline and matches. And right now, that's all that matters. I move fast. Pull our 2 duffel bags from the closet. Everything we own fits in 2 bags and 3 cardboard boxes. That's how little we have. I pack Sophia's clothes first, her favorite stuffed rabbit, the photo album with pictures of Emma, then my clothes, toiletries, the envelope of cash I keep hidden in a tampon box because that's the one place I figured thieves wouldn't look. 13 minutes. I wake Sophia gently. She's confused, groggy. What's happening? We're going on an adventure, baby. We need to go somewhere safe for a few days. Because of the bad smell? She's more perceptive than I give her credit for. Yeah, because of the bad smell. But it's going to be okay, I promise. I dress her in warm clothes. The November night is cold. Put on her sneakers, her jacket. She leans against me, still half asleep, trusting completely that I know what I'm doing. I wish I had that kind of faith in myself. 11 minutes. I do a final sweep of the apartment. Lock the windows, though it won't matter if they burn it down. Take the few things that matter. The photo albums, Sophia's birth certificate and social security card, my important documents. Everything else is replaceable. Everything except us. At exactly 15 minutes, headlights sweep across our living room window. I peek through the blinds and see it. A black Escalade with tinted windows, pulled up right in front of our building. The driver's door opens and a mountain of a man unfolds from the front seat. He's got to be 6'5", at least 250 of solid muscle, dark skin, wearing a black suit that somehow makes him look even more intimidating. My phone buzzes. A text from that same number. Marcus is outside. I hoist Sophia onto my hip. She's getting too big for this, but she tucks her head against my shoulder anyway. Grab both duffel bags and head for the door. Marcus is waiting at the building entrance, holding it open. Up close, he's even bigger, but his eyes are kind when they land on Sophia. Miss Rivera. His voice is surprisingly gentle. Let me get those bags. He takes both duffels like they weigh nothing, leads us to the Escalade, opens the back door. The interior is all black leather and new car smell, warm against the cold night. I buckle Sophia into a seat. There's a booster seat already there, like he knew, like Dominic thought of everything, and slide in beside her. Marcus loads our bags, then gets in the driver's seat. 20-minute drive, he says, meeting my eyes in the rearview mirror. Mr. Santoro's expecting you. You need anything? Water? Bathroom break? Anything. You let me know. Thank you. I manage. As we pull away from Morrison Street, from our ground floor apartment with its cracked linoleum and 3 locks that wouldn't have saved us, I look back through the rear window. The building is dark, except for a few lit windows. Mrs. Chen's light is still on. The Rodriguez family's music still plays. Tomorrow night, Victor's men will come. They'll splash gasoline on our door. Light a match. Watch it burn. And we won't be there. Because I made a deal with the devil. Or maybe I just called the only person powerful enough to stand between us and the monsters. Sophia falls asleep against my side as we drive through the city, heading toward the hills where the rich people live, where Dominic Santoro keeps his property, his empire, his secrets. I stroke her hair and watch the city lights blur past and try not to think about what comes next. Try not to think about the price I'll have to pay for our lives. The Escalade climbs into the hills, leaving behind the cramped streets and apartment buildings for wide roads lined with gates and walls. We pass estates hidden behind security fences, driveways that disappear into tree cover. The kind of wealth that doesn't announce itself because it doesn't need to. Marcus turns down a private road, stops at a gate that opens automatically. Cameras and sensors tracking our approach. The driveway is lined with lights, leading up to a house that's more like a compound. Stone and glass and modern architecture that probably cost more than I'll make in a lifetime. We pull up to the front entrance where warm light spills from windows onto manicured grounds. The door opens before Marcus can get out, and there he is, Dominic Santoro. He's dressed more casually than at the restaurant, dark slacks, a black shirt with the sleeves rolled up, no tie. But he carries the same authority, the same presence that makes the air feel heavier around him. His dark hair is slightly mussed, like he's been running his hands through it. His jaw is shadowed with stubble. He's younger than I remembered. Maybe 38, 39. Handsome in a way that's almost severe. Sharp cheekbones, strong nose, those dark eyes that miss nothing. Those eyes find mine through the car window, and something in them softens. Marcus opens my door. I unbuckle a sleeping Sophia, lift her into my arms. She's heavy, but I don't want to wake her. Don't want her to see this moment. Her aunt accepting help from a man whose power is written in every stone of this fortress he calls home. Maya. Dominic's voice is quieter than on the phone, mindful of the sleeping child. Let me. Before I can protest, he's reaching for Sophia, and somehow I let him take her. Watch as this dangerous man cradles my niece against his chest with surprising gentleness, supporting her head, adjusting her so she's comfortable. Marcus will get your bags, he says. Come inside. You're safe here. I follow him into his home. This man I barely know. This man who could destroy me with a word. This man who just saved our lives. And I know, with the certainty of someone stepping off a cliff, that nothing will ever be the same again. The house is quiet except for the sound of our footsteps on marble floors. Dominic carries Sophia like she weighs nothing, moving through his home with the confidence of someone who owns every inch of it. I follow, trying not to gawk at the soaring ceilings, the artwork on the walls that's probably worth more than my entire neighborhood, the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city below. This way. He leads me up a curved staircase to the second floor, down a hallway lined with closed doors. He opens one, and I step into a bedroom that's bigger than my entire apartment. A king-sized bed dominates the space, covered in white linens that look impossibly soft. There's a sitting area with a couch and armchairs, a desk by the window, another door that presumably leads to a bathroom. Everything is done in warm neutrals, cream and taupe and soft gold. It's beautiful, impersonal, like a luxury hotel room. Dominic lays Sophia on the bed with careful precision, removing her shoes but leaving her dressed. She doesn't wake, just curls onto her side with a soft sigh. There's a connecting room. He nods toward a door I hadn't noticed. Smaller, set up for a child. I had my housekeeper prepare it when you called. But if you want her in here with you... No, the other room is perfect. My voice comes out rough. Thank you. He nods, stepping back from the bed. In the soft lamplight, his features are less severe, almost gentle. I'll show you. The connecting room is decorated in soft blues and yellows, with a twin bed covered in a yellow quilt, shelves with books and toys, a small desk and chair. It's a child's room, but not in a generic way. Someone put thought into this. How did you? I start, then stop. Stupid question. He has resources. He knew I had a 7-year-old niece. Of course he prepared. My housekeeper Rosa has grandchildren, he says, as if reading my mind. She keeps things on hand for when they visit. A pause. But she picked these out specifically for Sophia. Guessed at her age and interests based on what I told her. What, he told her. Which means he talked about us. About Sophia. Made sure his staff knew to prepare for a child. The thoughtfulness of it catches me off guard. I can move her, I say, looking back at where Sophia sleeps in the other room. Get her settled in here. In the morning. His voice is quiet but firm. Let her sleep. You both need rest. I want to argue, want to maintain some illusion of control, but exhaustion is crashing over me in waves. And he's right. Sophia is sleeping peacefully, and moving her now would only upset her. Your bags are being brought up, Dominic continues. The bathroom is through there. He indicates another door in the main bedroom. Everything you should need is stocked. If there's anything else, there's a phone on the nightstand. Dial 0 for Rosa. She's in the staff quarters, available any time. Staff quarters. Of course he has staff quarters. I'm in the East Wing if you need anything, he adds, but you won't be disturbed unless you call. This wing is private. He's giving us space. Privacy. Not hovering, not demanding anything, just helping. Dominic. His name feels strange on my tongue. Too familiar. Too intimate. I don't know how to thank you. Something flickers in his dark eyes. You don't need to thank me, Maya. Not for this. He moves toward the door, then pauses. There's food in the kitchen. Help yourself to anything. Rosa will make breakfast in the morning. Whatever Sophia likes. Just let her know. Okay. I'm struggling to process all of this. The kindness, the consideration. This isn't what I expected from a man with his reputation. He's at the door when I find my voice again. What happens now? To Victor? To his men? Dominic turns back, and in that moment I see it. The coldness beneath the careful courtesy. The dangerous man who built an empire on fear and power. Nothing you need to concern yourself with. His voice is matter of fact. By morning, Victor will understand that you and Sophia are under my protection. That touching you would be the last mistake he ever makes. You're going to hurt them. It's not a question. I'm going to make sure they never threaten you again. He holds my gaze. Does that bother you? It should. I should be horrified. Should protest. Insist on a different solution. Something less violent. But I think of Sophia sleeping in that bed. Think of the gasoline on our steps. Think of how Victor's men looked at me 2 weeks ago when they came to collect. Hungry. Cruel. Like they'd enjoy watching us burn. No. I whisper. It doesn't bother me. Dominic nods slowly, as if I've confirmed something he already knew. Get some rest, Maya. Tomorrow we'll talk about what comes next. But tonight, just sleep. You're safe here. I give you my word. Then he's gone, the door closing softly behind him, leaving me alone in this beautiful room with my sleeping niece and the weight of what I've just accepted. I check on Sophia one more time, still sleeping peacefully, her face relaxed in a way I haven't seen in weeks. The stress of our situation has been affecting her more than I realized. Here, in this bed that probably costs more than 6 months of my rent, she looks like a child again. Just a little girl. Not someone learning to recognize the smell of gasoline as a threat. Marcus brings our bags up, setting them just inside the door with a quiet, "Anything else you need, Miss Rivera? You just call down." Thank you, Marcus, for everything. He gives me a small smile. Just doing my job, ma'am. Mr. Santoro, he takes care of his people. You're one of his people now. His people. The phrase echoes in my head after he leaves. What does that mean exactly? What have I signed up for? The bathroom is obscene in its luxury. Marble everywhere. A shower with 6 different heads. A tub big enough to swim in. Heated floors that warm my cold feet instantly. The counter is stocked with expensive toiletries, brands I've only seen in magazine ads. There's even a toothbrush still in its packaging. Toothpaste. Everything I might need. I shower quickly, washing away the fierce sweat of the evening, the smell of gasoline that I can still detect in my hair. The hot water feels like absolution, like washing off my old life and stepping into something new, something dangerous. I pull on the clean pajamas from my bag, old gym shorts and a faded t-shirt that look ridiculous in this elegant space. But they're mine, familiar, a reminder of who I actually am beneath all this luxury. The bed is as comfortable as it looked. I sink into it, meaning to just lie down for a minute to process everything that's happened. But exhaustion pulls me under almost immediately, and for the first time in months, I sleep without nightmares. I wake to sunlight streaming through windows I forgot to close, and the smell of coffee. For a disoriented moment, I don't know where I am. Then it all comes back. The phone call. The escape. Dominic carrying Sophia up the stairs. Sophia. I bolt upright, panic spiking, but she's there in the chair by the window, eating what looks like a chocolate chip pancake, her legs swinging happily. A woman I don't recognize sits across from her, middle-aged, Hispanic, with kind eyes and a warm smile. Good morning, Miss Rivera. The woman stands. I'm Rosa, Mr. Santoro's housekeeper. I hope you don't mind. Sophia woke up about an hour ago, and I heard her in the hallway. I didn't want to wake you, so I brought her down for breakfast. An hour ago, I slept through my niece waking up, wandering into a strange house. Some guardian I am. Maya. Look! Sophia holds up her plate. Rosa made me Mickey Mouse pancakes, and there's bacon, and orange juice, and she said I could have a second pancake if I want. The pure joy in her voice makes my chest tight. When was the last time she was excited about breakfast? When was the last time we had more than cereal or toast? That's wonderful, baby. I push myself out of bed, suddenly aware that I'm in my ratty pajamas in front of this put-together woman in her neat uniform. Thank you, Rosa. You didn't have to. Mr. Santoro asked me to make sure you both were comfortable. Rosa's smile is genuine. I raised 3 children of my own. I know how important breakfast is. There's coffee downstairs, and I can make whatever you'd like to eat. Mr. Santoro thought you might prefer to have breakfast up here privately, but the dining room is available if you'd like. Mr. Santoro thought. Mr. Santoro asked. He's orchestrating all of this, making sure we're cared for. And he's not even here. Where is he? I ask before I can stop myself. He left early this morning for business. Rosa begins tidying the room with practiced efficiency. He said to tell you he'd be back by noon and that you should make yourself at home. The grounds are safe to explore if Sophia wants to play outside. There's a pool, though it's too cold for swimming now. But the gardens are lovely. A pool. Gardens. This isn't a home, it's an estate. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. I shower and dress in my own clothes, jeans and a sweater that feel inadequate in this space, but are at least clean. When I come out, Sophia has finished her breakfast and is exploring the connecting bedroom with wide eyes. Maya, there are so many books. And toys. Can I play with them? They're not ours, baby. Mr. Santoro said she's welcome to anything in that room. Rosa interjects gently. He was very clear about that. This is your space while you're here. Please, make yourselves comfortable. While you're here. The temporary nature of this arrangement sits heavy in my stomach. We're guests. Refugees. Here by the grace of a man who could withdraw his protection at any moment. But Sophia is smiling, pulling books off the shelf, and I don't have the heart to deny her this moment of normalcy. Rosa leads me downstairs to a kitchen that belongs in a magazine. Professional-grade appliances, miles of granite countertop, an island bigger than my old bathroom. She pours me coffee in a mug that's heavier and better quality than any dish I own. Mr. Santoro wanted me to assure you that you're not imposing, Rosa says, reading my discomfort with practiced ease. He doesn't bring many people here. His home is very private. But when he called last night, he was very clear that you and Sophia needed to be comfortable, to feel safe. She pauses, choosing her words carefully. He's a good man, Miss Rivera. I know his reputation, but I've worked for him for 12 years. He takes care of his people. That phrase again. His people. Rosa, can I ask you something? Of course. Has he done this before? Brought people here who were in trouble? She considers the question, wiping down counters that are already spotless. Not like this. He's helped people, found them jobs, housing, dealt with problems they couldn't handle themselves. But bringing someone to his home? Making sure a child's room was prepared? She shakes her head. This is different. You're different. The implication hangs in the air. I'm different. But I don't know why. Don't understand what makes me special enough for this kind of intervention. I'm just a waitress with a dead sister and a debt I couldn't pay. I spend the morning with Sophia, letting her explore the grounds under Rosa's watchful eye. The property is massive, acres of manicured lawn, gardens with winding paths, a pool house that's bigger than any home I've lived in. There's a greenhouse, a tennis court, even a small guest house at the far end of the property. Security cameras are everywhere. I spot them in trees, on the corners of buildings, discreetly mounted along the perimeter wall. Men in suits patrol the grounds at regular intervals, speaking into earpieces, their eyes constantly scanning. This isn't just a home, it's a fortress. Sophia doesn't notice. She's too busy running through the gardens, finding interesting rocks, pointing out birds. She laughs, free and easy, and I realize it's the first time I've heard that sound in weeks. At noon, a black car pulls through the gates. I'm on the terrace with Sophia, watching her draw with chalk on the patio stones. When I see it, my heart rate picks up. He's back. Dominic emerges from the car in a dark suit, crisp white shirt, looking every inch the powerful businessman. He speaks briefly with Marcus, who met him at the car. Then his eyes find me on the terrace. Even from this distance, I feel the weight of that gaze. He approaches across the lawn, and I stand, suddenly nervous. In the light of day, with perspective and sleep, what I've done feels enormous. I've accepted help from a man who operates outside the law, who solves problems with violence, who owns me now in ways I'm still trying to understand. Maya. He reaches the terrace, and up close I can see the tension in his shoulders, the tightness around his eyes. Whatever business he handled this morning, it wasn't pleasant. How did you sleep? Well, thank you. My voice is more formal than I intend. Rosa has been wonderful. The room is beautiful. Everything is... Mr. Santoro, Sophia interrupts, running over with her chalk-covered hands. Look what I drew. It's a rainbow. And that's you. And that's Maya. And that's me. She points to 3 stick figures on the patio stone. The tallest one, presumably Dominic, is holding hands with the other 2. I want to sink through the ground. But Dominic crouches down to her level, studying her artwork with serious consideration. That's excellent work, Sophia. I especially like the rainbow. Did you know rainbows are made when sunlight hits rain in just the right way? Sophia's eyes go wide. Really? Really? It's called refraction. The water droplets act like tiny prisms. He's talking to her like she's an adult, not talking down, and she's eating it up. What's a prism? Something that bends light and breaks it into colors. I'll show you later if you'd like. I have one in my office. Can I see it now? She's bouncing on her toes, all excitement. Dominic glances at me, asking permission without words. I nod, not trusting my voice. Come on then. He stands, offering Sophia his hand. She takes it without hesitation, and they head toward the house, Sophia chattering about rainbows and colors and how she wants to learn about prisms. I follow at a distance, watching this dangerous man patiently explain optics to a 7-year-old girl who's covered in chalk dust and completely unafraid of him. His office is on the first floor, behind heavy oak doors. It's masculine and elegant. Dark wood, leather furniture, built-in bookshelves filled with actual books, not just decoration. A massive desk dominates one end, its surface covered with papers and a laptop. The windows overlook the back gardens. Dominic pulls a crystal prism from a shelf. It's decorative, part of a sculpture, but he removes it carefully and carries it to the window where sunlight streams in. He holds it up, angling it until a rainbow appears on the wall. Sophia gasps with delight. See? Dominic's voice is soft. The white light goes in, but the prism slows down different colors by different amounts. So they separate, and we can see all the individual colors that make up sunlight. That's so cool. Sophia reaches for the prism and he hands it to her, showing her how to hold it to catch the light. I watch from the doorway, this surreal scene playing out in front of me. A Mafia boss teaching a second grader about light physics. My niece, who should be terrified after everything we've been through, completely at ease with a man whose reputation makes grown men nervous. Sophia, baby, let's let Mr. Santoro get back to work, I say after a few minutes. But I want to see more rainbows. You can borrow the prism, Dominic offers. Take it up to your room. Try it in different windows. See what happens. Really? Sophia clutches the crystal like treasure. Really, just be careful with it. I will. Thank you, Mr. Santoro. She hugs his leg quickly, then races past me toward the stairs, shouting, Maya, I'm gonna make rainbows everywhere. Silence falls in her wake. I'm alone with Dominic in his office, the door still open but feeling somehow smaller with just the two of us. You didn't have to do that, I say quietly. Give her your things. It's a prism. I have others. He moves to his desk, beginning to sort through papers with practiced efficiency. Besides, she's been through a lot. If a piece of crystal and a science lesson help, it's a small thing. Nothing you do is small. He looks up at that, his dark eyes meeting mine. Meaning? Meaning this house, the security, Rosa, the room prepared for Sophia, handling Victor. I take a breath. I need to understand what this costs, what you expect in return. Dominic leans against his desk, arms crossed, studying me. You think I expect payment. Men like you don't help people out of kindness. Men like me. His voice is neutral, but something flickers in his eyes. What kind of man do you think I am, Maya? I force myself to hold his gaze. The kind who runs an empire built on things that happen in the dark. The kind who makes people disappear. The kind who doesn't do anything without calculating the return on investment. A small smile touches his lips, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Fair assessment. He pushes off the desk, moving closer. Not threatening, but deliberate. You want to know what I expect? Yes. I expect you to let me keep you safe. I expect you to stay here until Victor and his associates are no longer a threat. I expect you to trust that when I say you're under my protection, I mean it. He stops a few feet away, close enough that I have to tilt my head back to maintain eye contact. What I don't expect is payment, Sexual favors, indentured servitude, or any of the other things I can see running through your mind right now. My cheeks flush. Then why? Why help us? Because you called. He says it like it's simple, like it explains everything. Because you were terrified and out of options, and you reached out to the one person who could actually help. Because that little girl up there deserves to chase rainbows instead of running from men with gasoline. That's not enough. There has to be more. Dominic is quiet for a long moment, his jaw working like he's deciding how much to tell me. Finally, 6 weeks ago, you walked in on a conversation you shouldn't have heard. You could have gone to the police, tried to leverage what you knew, made yourself a problem. Instead, you kept your head down and your mouth shut. That told me you were smart, discreet. So, this is a reward for not snitching? No. His voice is firm. This is me helping someone who deserves help. Someone who works 3 jobs to take care of a child who isn't even hers. Someone who fled an abusive situation and built a life from nothing. Someone who's doing everything right and still can't catch a break because the world is cruel, and your sister made bad choices that you're paying for. The accuracy of his assessment makes me step back. How much do you know about me? Enough. He doesn't apologize for the invasion of privacy. I make it my business to know about people in my orbit. And the moment you walked into my restaurant, you entered my orbit. That was 3 months ago. I know. 3 months. He's been watching me for 3 months. Learning about my life, my struggles, my history. The violation should anger me, but instead, I feel strangely exposed, seen. What happened this morning? I ask, changing the subject. Where did you go? Dominic returns to his desk, picks up a folder, hands it to me. Victor Reyes is no longer a concern. I open the folder with trembling hands. Inside are photographs. Victor and 2 of his men at what looks like a warehouse. The images are grainy, clearly from a security camera, time-stamped from early this morning. They're alive, Dominic says, reading my expression. But they've been persuaded to leave the state. Victor's operation has been absorbed. His debts, including your sister's, have been purchased by one of my associates for pennies on the dollar. As of this morning, you owe nothing to anyone. I stare at the photographs, at Victor's face twisted with fear, at the men in suits surrounding him. Dominic's men, clearly. You bought my sister's debt. I eliminated it. There's a difference. Why not just kill them? Isn't that what you do to people who threaten you? His expression hardens. I don't kill people indiscriminately, Maya. Violence is a tool, not a hobby. Victor and his men are small-time dealers who got too big for their britches. They needed a lesson in respecting boundaries, not a death sentence. And if they come back? If they try again? They won't. The certainty in his voice is absolute. I made it very clear what would happen if they ever spoke your name again, looked in your direction, or set foot in this city. They're smart enough to know I don't make idle threats. I sink into one of the leather chairs facing his desk, the folder still clutched in my hands. It's over. Just like that. The threat that's been hanging over my head for months, the fear that kept me awake at night, the debt that seemed impossible to escape. Gone. I don't know what to say. You don't need to say anything. But I do. I need to understand this. What happens now? Do Sophia and I just go back to our apartment? Back to our lives? Dominic's expression shifts, something unreadable crossing his features. Your apartment is currently uninhabitable. Victor's men doused it with gasoline last night after you left. The landlord had it cleaned, but the damage is significant. It'll be at least 2 weeks before it's livable again. My heart sinks. Of course. They went through with it anyway, even without us there. Our home, our things. Your belongings are safe, Dominic adds quickly. I had my people remove everything of value before the fire department arrived. It's in storage. The landlord is cooperating. He'll repair the damage, and your rent will be covered until you decide what you want to do. What I want to do, I repeat numbly. You could go back, resume your life. I'll make sure Victor stays gone, that you're safe. He pauses. Or you could stay here. There's plenty of room. Sophia's happy. You wouldn't have to work 3 jobs just to survive. You could actually build something instead of just barely hanging on. The offer hangs in the air between us, heavy with implications. Stay here. In his home. Under his protection. In his debt. Whether he wants to call it that or not. Why would you want that? I ask quietly. You don't even know us. Dominic leans back in his chair, his dark eyes never leaving mine. I know you better than you think. I know you're fiercely loyal. I know you put Sophia's needs above your own. I know you're smart enough to adapt to circumstances but stubborn enough to maintain your integrity. He pauses. And I know that in the 6 weeks since you discovered my other business interests, you haven't told a soul. Not your friend Jenna, not the police, no one. That kind of discretion is rare, valuable. So this is a job offer. If you want it to be. I could use someone with your skills, languages, hospitality, the ability to read people. My restaurant is just one of many businesses. There are opportunities. My mind races. He's offering me a way out of the poverty trap I've been struggling in. Security for Sophia. A real chance at stability. All I have to do is accept that the man providing it is also the man who makes people disappear, who runs operations that get discussed in back offices with stacks of cash. I need time to think about it. Take all the time you need. Stay here as long as you want. No pressure, no obligations. He stands, signaling the end of the conversation. I have calls to make. Rosa will prepare lunch whenever you're ready. If you need anything at all, just ask. I stand too, clutching the folder with Victor's pictures like a lifeline. Dominic? He pauses at the door to his private bathroom. Apparently this office has its own full bath. Of course it does. Thank you. For everything. I know I keep saying that, but I mean it. Something softens in his expression. You're welcome, Maya. And for what it's worth, I'm glad you called. Glad you trusted me enough to ask for help. Then he's gone, disappearing into the bathroom, leaving me alone in his office surrounded by evidence of his wealth and power and the choices I need to make. I find Sophia in her room, my room, our temporary room, making rainbows dance across the walls with Dominic's prism. She's laughing, pure joy, and I think about the alternative. Think about what would have happened if I hadn't called him, if we'd been in that apartment when Victor's men came. We'd be dead. Or in a hospital. Or on the street with nothing. Instead, we're here. Safe. Alive. Sophia is playing with a crystal prism in a room full of books and toys, eating chocolate chip pancakes, learning about refraction from a man who kills people for a living but treats her like she matters. The world isn't black and white. I've known that intellectually for years, ever since Emma's addiction showed me that good people make terrible choices. But this is different. This is me, actively choosing to stay in the orbit of someone dangerous because the safety he offers is more real than any alternative I can create on my own. I watch Sophia play, her rainbow-painted shadows dancing across expensive wallpaper, and I make my decision. We'll stay. At least for now. At least until I understand what Dominic really wants from us, what price this protection will ultimately demand. Because there's always a price. I just have to figure out what it is before the bill comes due. The next 3 days fall into a strange rhythm. Mornings with Sophia, exploring the grounds or reading in the library. Lunch with Rosa, who's become a steady, comforting presence. Afternoons while Sophia naps or plays, I help Rosa with small tasks, not because she needs help, but because I can't just sit idle while people serve me. Dominic is mostly absent during the days. He leaves early, returns late. When our paths cross, he's polite, distant even. He asks how we're settling in, if we need anything, but doesn't push for conversation or answers to his offer. It's like he's giving me space to decide without pressure. On the fourth night, I can't sleep. Sophia is out cold in her connecting room, exhausted from a day spent helping Rosa bake cookies. I wander downstairs, thinking I'll make tea, maybe read in the library until I'm tired enough to sleep. I'm surprised to find lights on in Dominic's office, the door slightly ajar. I should walk past, give him privacy. But I hear voices, his and another man's, speaking in rapid Italian. My Italian is rusty, mostly forgotten from my grandmother who died when I was 12, but I catch enough to understand. Can't keep expanding without drawing attention. Feds are asking questions about the shipping routes. Need to diversify, legitimate businesses to wash the... I step back, not wanting to hear more, but the floor creaks under my foot. The conversation stops immediately. Maya? Dominic's voice. Come in. I push the door open hesitantly. Dominic is behind his desk, tie loosened, shirt sleeves rolled up. Another man sits across from him, older, maybe 60, with silver hair and sharp eyes that assess me instantly. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just... Getting tea? Dominic finishes. His expression is unreadable. This is Luca Marchetti, my attorney. Luca. Maya Rivera. The older man stands, extending his hand. Miss Rivera, I've heard about you. I shake his hand, wondering what exactly he's heard. Nice to meet you. Luca was just leaving, Dominic says, standing as well. We can finish this tomorrow. Luca nods, gathering papers into a briefcase. Of course. Miss Rivera, good evening. He pauses at the door. Dominic, think about what I said. Diversification isn't just smart business, it's survival. When he's gone, Dominic gestures to the chair Luca vacated. Sit. I'll make you that tea. You don't have to. I'm making myself a drink anyway. Tea's no trouble. He has a full bar cart in the corner, but also an electric kettle and a selection of teas. He prepares chamomile for me, bourbon for himself, and returns to his seat. How much did you hear? He asks without preamble. Enough to know you have problems beyond Victor Reyes. He sips his bourbon, considering me. The FBI has been investigating my shipping operations for 6 months. They haven't found anything concrete, but they're persistent. Luca thinks I should shift focus, invest more heavily in legitimate businesses, create distance between myself and the operations that draw attention. And what do you think? I think he's probably right. Dominic swirls his drink. I've been doing this for 15 years, built something from nothing. But there's a ceiling to what you can accomplish when you operate in the shadows. Eventually, someone shines a light, and you either adapt or you burn. I sip my tea, the warmth spreading through me. Is that why you offered me a job? Part of this diversification? Partly. He meets my eyes. But also because I meant what I said. You're smart, capable, wasted on minimum wage jobs. I can offer you something better. Working for you. Doing what exactly? He leans forward, elbows on his desk. Managing one of my restaurants, the one you work at now. I'm expanding, opening 2 more locations next year. I need someone who understands service, hospitality, who can manage staff, and handle high-end clientele. Someone I trust. You barely know me. I know you're honest. I know you kept your mouth shut when you could have made yourself a problem. I know you put Sophia's needs above your own comfort. That's enough. And when the FBI comes asking questions, when they start investigating everyone in your orbit, you'll be clean. The restaurants are legitimate. Proper books? Taxes paid? Everything legal? You'd have plausible deniability for anything else. He pauses. I wouldn't put you at risk, Maya. Or Sophia. The sincerity in his voice makes my chest tight. Mr. Santoro, I can't accept. It's not negotiable, and it's not just for Sophia. It's for every child in this school. His voice softens slightly. Please, Principal Morrison, let me do this. She nods, clearly overwhelmed. Of course. Thank you. When we're finally alone in the parking lot, I turn to Dominic. You knew. Last night, when you had Marcus pick up Sophia, you already knew Victor was making moves. I suspected. My people in Nevada reported unusual activity. Victor making calls, meeting with associates who still have connections here. I wasn't taking chances. You should have told me. And terrified you when I wasn't sure? When it might have been nothing? He cups my face. I was trying to protect you. By keeping me in the dark? By handling threats before they reach you. His thumb strokes my cheekbone. That's what I do, Maya. I stand between you and the darkness. I thought you understood that. I understand that you're used to controlling everything, but Sophia is my responsibility. I need to know when there's danger. You're right. The admission surprises me. I'm sorry, I should have told you, but understand. My instinct is to shield you from this. From all of it. Let me carry the weight so you don't have to. I'm not some delicate flower who needs protecting from reality. No. You're a woman who's been through hell and came out stronger, but you don't have to keep being strong alone. He pulls me close, and I let him. That's what I'm offering. Partnership. But partnership means I handle the threats. You handle Sophia, the restaurant, building the life we're creating. Division of labor. It's so typically male, so old-fashioned that I should argue. But there's also logic to it. Dominic has resources, connections, the ability to neutralize threats I can't even see coming. And I have Sophia, who needs stability and normalcy more than she needs to know about bounties and break-ins. Fine, I say against his chest. But no more secrets. If there's danger, I need to know. Even if you're handling it. Deal. He kisses the top of my head. Now let's go home. Sophia's probably driving Rosa crazy with questions. Home. He said home, not the estate. Like it's ours. Like we belong there. Maybe we do. Sophia is indeed driving Rosa crazy, but in the best way. She's helping make pancakes, which means she's mostly covered in flour and batter, chattering about how she gets to stay home from school today like it's a special treat. Maya! She launches herself at me when we walk in. Rosa said I could help make lunch too. Can I? Please? I look at Rosa over Sophia's flour-dusted head. The older woman just smiles and shrugs. Sure, baby, but first, let's get you cleaned up. Bath time, fresh clothes, and by then, it's nearly 10 a.m. Sophia settles into the library with her books while I find Dominic in his office, on the phone speaking rapid Italian. He holds up a finger. 1 minute, and I settle into the chair across from his desk to wait. Don't care what it costs. Find him. I want eyes on Victor Reyes 24/7. And anyone he contacts here, I want names, addresses, everything. He pauses, listening. Good. Report back tonight. He ends the call and immediately focuses on me. Sophia, okay? She's fine. Doesn't even realize anything happened. I lean forward. Tell me the truth. How bad is this? Victor putting a bounty on us? Dominic's expression is grave. Bad enough that I'm taking precautions, but not bad enough that you need to panic. Yet. Victor is in Nevada, but he still has connections here. Small-time guys who owe him favors or want to make a quick 20 grand. We caught Vega, but there could be others. He runs a hand through his hair. I'm having Victor watched. If he makes a move back to this state, if he contacts anyone else here, I'll know immediately. And then what? Then I eliminate the threat. Permanently. There it is. The dark reality of Dominic's world. He'll kill Victor to protect us. Won't lose sleep over it. We'll do whatever it takes. And the worst part? I'm not horrified. I'm relieved. What does that make me? I ask quietly. That I'm okay with you killing someone to keep us safe? Human. He comes around the desk, crouches in front of my chair. Maya, you're not a killer. You're not complicit in my world just because you accept my protection. You're a woman doing what she has to do to keep her niece alive and safe. There's no shame in that. Agent Walsh would disagree. Agent Walsh doesn't have a child depending on her. She gets to make moral judgments from a position of safety and privilege. You don't have that luxury. His hands cover mine. Stop questioning yourself. You made the right call 2 months ago, and you're making the right call now. How do you know? Because Sophia is alive, healthy, happy. Because you're building a life instead of just surviving. Because for the first time in years, you're not alone. He squeezes my hands. That's all that matters. We're interrupted by Rosa, apologizing but saying there's someone at the gate, a delivery that requires signature. Dominic frowns. I'm not expecting anything. It's addressed to Miss Rivera, Rosa says. My stomach drops. Don't open the gate. But Dominic is already moving, pulling up security camera feeds on his laptop. The delivery truck is legitimate. I can see the company logo. But the driver seems nervous, glancing around too much. Marcus. Dominic speaks into his phone. Gate, now. Full security protocol. Within minutes, Marcus and 2 other security personnel approach the truck. The driver hands over a small package, backing away quickly. Marcus scans it with some kind of device. Bomb detection, I realize with horror, before bringing it inside. The package is the size of a shoebox, wrapped in brown paper. My name is written in block letters. No return address. Don't open it, I say immediately. I won't. Dominic is already on the phone with someone else. I'm sending you a package. I need it x-rayed, checked for explosives, biological agents, everything. Yes. Now. Marcus is bringing it. You think it's a bomb? My voice is shaking. I think it's a message. From Victor or whoever's working for him. And I'm not taking chances. Marcus takes the package and we wait. The tension is suffocating. Sophia wanders in, oblivious, asking if she can have a snack. Rosa takes her to the kitchen, distracting her with cookies and milk. 30 minutes later, Dominic's phone rings. What did you find? His expression darkens as he listens. I see. No, don't open it. Destroy it. I don't want any evidence of this. A pause. I said destroy it. He ends the call and looks at me, and I know from his face that it's bad. It's not a bomb, it's photographs. Of Sophia. At school. At the park. Getting into Marcus's car. Taken over the last month. The implication is clear. Someone has been watching her. Following her. Close enough to take pictures. Close enough to hurt her. They're trying to scare us, I say, forcing my voice to stay steady. They're succeeding. Dominic's voice is tight with controlled fury. This ends now. No more waiting. No more tracking. I'm bringing Victor back here. And ending this. How? By offering him something he wants more than revenge. Or by taking something he loves. His eyes meet mine. I'm done playing defense, Maya. It's time to go on the offensive. Over the next 48 hours, I watch Dominic Santoro transform from the man who teaches Sophia about science into the criminal kingpin the FBI is desperate to take down. Men come and go from the estate at all hours, conversations in Italian and English, always in low tones, always ending with grim nods. Luca is there constantly, managing legal angles I don't want to understand. Marcus and his team increase security exponentially. The estate becomes a fortress. Guards at every entrance, cameras covering every angle. Sophia can't leave the grounds without a minimum of 3 armed men accompanying her. She thinks it's an adventure. I know it's a prison. On the third night, Dominic comes to find me. I'm in the library, unable to sleep, unable to focus on anything. It's done, he says simply. What's done? Victor Reyes is no longer a threat. He's agreed to call off the bounty, leave the state permanently, and never speak your name again. Relief floods through me. How did you... You don't want to know the details. Yes, I do. Dominic sighs, settling into the chair across from mine. Victor has a mother, lives in a care facility in Carson City, needs round-the-clock medical attention for her Alzheimer's, very expensive care that Victor pays for with his drug money. Understanding dawns. You threatened his mother. I offered to take over her care costs, ensure she receives the absolute best treatment for the rest of her life, in exchange for Victor leaving you alone and disappearing from Nevada. He meets my eyes. His mother's well-being for yours and Sophia's. He made the smart choice. You bought him off. I leveraged what he loves to protect what I love. That's business. He leans forward. He's also been made aware that if anything happens to you or Sophia, if you're involved in an accident, get sick under mysterious circumstances, anything, his mother's care immediately stops, and she gets transferred to a state facility. He understands the terms. It's cold, calculated, ruthless. It's also effective. So it's over? We're safe? From Victor, yes. From the FBI. He trails off. That's more complicated. Agent Walsh isn't going away. She'll keep pushing, keep looking for leverage. Then we deal with her when it comes. I stand, move to where he's sitting, and do something I've been wanting to do for days. I climb into his lap, wrap my arms around his neck. Thank you for protecting us. His arms come around me immediately, holding me close. Always. For as long as you'll let me. What if I want it to be forever? He pulls back to look at me. Surprise, and something else. Hope, flickering in his dark eyes. Maya. I know it's fast. I know it's crazy. But these last 2 months, living here, watching you with Sophia, building something with you, I take a breath. I don't want it to end. I don't want to go back to our apartment, to our old life. I want this. I want you. You have me, he says fiercely. You've had me since the night you called, terrified and out of options, and trusted me enough to ask for help. Maybe even before that. Before. The first time I saw you at the restaurant. You were serving a table of businessmen who were being rude, demanding, treating you like you were beneath them. And you smiled and took it with grace, then came into the back and let yourself have exactly 30 seconds of frustration before putting the smile back on and going out to serve their dessert. He tucks a strand of hair behind my ear. I thought, there's a woman who knows how to survive, how to endure. I wanted to know more about you. So you had me investigated. So I had you investigated. He admits without shame. And everything I learned made me more certain that you were someone worth protecting, worth keeping close. I kiss him, pouring everything I can't say into the press of my lips against his. Thank you. I trust you. I love you. Wait. Love? I pull back, the realization hitting me like lightning. I love you. Dominic's expression softens in a way I've never seen. Vulnerable. Open. Say it again. I love you, Dominic Santoro. I love how you protect us. I love how you are with Sophia. I love that you're dangerous and dark, but gentle with us. I love... He kisses me, cutting off my words. This kiss is different from the others. Deeper. more claiming. A promise and a question all at once. When we finally break apart, he rests his forehead against mine. I love you too, Maya. More than I thought I could love anyone. You and Sophia both. We sit like that for a long time, wrapped around each other in the quiet library. Outside, security guards patrol. Cameras record. The FBI builds their case. But in here, we're safe. We're together. We're building something that might be unconventional, might be dangerous, might be impossible to explain to anyone outside this moment. But it's ours. 3 months later, the FBI's investigation quietly closes. Luca never explains exactly how, but I suspect it involves Dominic offering them bigger targets in exchange for dropping the case against him. The restaurants are clean, his other businesses insulated enough that prosecution would be difficult without the testimony Luca ensured they'd never get. Agent Walsh calls me one last time. You won this round, Miss Rivera, but understand, men like Dominic Santoro always fall eventually. When he does, you'll fall with him. Maybe, I say, or maybe you're wrong about him. Maybe he's building something different. Something that lasts. She laughs, bitter. You actually believe that? I do. Then you're more naive than I thought. Good luck, Miss Rivera. You're going to need it. She hangs up, and I delete her number from my phone. That chapter is closed. Sophia turns 8 in April. We celebrate at the estate with a party that would have been unthinkable a year ago. Bounce house, magician, 20 kids from her school running through the gardens. Rosa makes a 3-tier cake. Marcus helps organize games. And Dominic stands beside me, his hand in mine, watching Sophia open presents with pure joy on her face. She's happy, he says quietly. She is. Because of you. Because you fought for her when no one else would. Because of us, I correct. We fought for her. Together. He kisses my temple. I like the sound of that. Together. That night, after Sophia is asleep and the party debris is cleaned up, Dominic takes me to his office. There's a small box on his desk. What's this? I ask. Open it. Inside is a key. Not a car key or a house key, but something older. Antique, almost. What does it open? Nothing, actually. He takes it from the box, holds it up to the light. It belonged to my mother. She gave it to me before she died, told me to give it to someone I wanted to build a life with. Someone I trusted with everything I am. My throat tightens. Dominic. I'm not good at this. I don't know how to do romance the right way, but I know that I want you here. In this house. In my life. Permanently. You and Sophia both. He presses the key into my palm, closes my fingers around it. This is me asking you to stay. Not as a guest, not as someone I'm protecting, but as my partner. My family. Tears spill down my cheeks. Are you asking me to marry you? Eventually, yes. When you're ready. When Sophia's ready. When it feels right. He wipes my tears with his thumbs. But for now, I'm asking you to make this your home. Officially. Let me take care of you both. Not out of obligation or debt, but because I love you. Because you're mine, and I'm yours. And that's how it should be. I look at the key in my hand. This symbol of commitment from a man who doesn't make promises lightly. Think about the journey that brought us here. Desperation, fear, phone calls in the dark, running from threats that seemed insurmountable. And I think about what we've built. Safety, stability, love. Yes, I whisper. Yes to all of it. This is our home. We're your family. And you're ours. He kisses me then, sweet and gentle and full of promise. The kind of kiss that says forever isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Outside, the security lights illuminate the grounds. Guards patrol. The world continues to be dangerous and unpredictable. But inside Dominic's office, wrapped in his arms. I'm not afraid. Because I've learned something these past months. Safety isn't about eliminating all danger. It's about having someone strong enough to stand between you and the darkness. Someone willing to fight for you. Someone who loves you enough to build a fortress and call it home. And Dominic Santoro, for all his darkness, for all his danger, is that person. 1 year later, we marry in the gardens of the estate. Sophia is the flower girl, beaming in her yellow dress as she leads me down the aisle. Rosa cries. Marcus stands as Dominic's best man, looking uncomfortable in a tuxedo but honored nonetheless. Luca officiates. He's also a notary, apparently, and keeps the ceremony short and meaningful. When Dominic slides the ring onto my finger, he leans close and whispers, "Thank you for trusting me that night, for calling, for giving me a chance to be the man you and Sophia deserve." "Thank you for answering," I whisper back, "for saving us, for loving us. Always," he promises, "for the rest of my life." We kiss as husband and wife, and Sophia cheers, and somewhere in the distance I hear thunder. A storm rolling in off the mountains. But we're safe. We're together. We're home. And that night, when Sophia asks why I'm crying happy tears, I tell her the truth. Because sometimes, when you're brave enough to ask for help, when you trust the right person, when you take a leap of faith in the darkness, sometimes you don't just survive. Sometimes you find exactly where you belong. She hugs me tight. This little girl who's been through so much, who's thrived despite it all. I'm glad we found where we belong, Maya. I love it here. I love Uncle Dominic. This is the best home ever. It really is, baby. It really is. And as thunder rumbles and rain begins to fall, washing the world clean, I stand in the doorway of our home and watch Dominic and Sophia play chess in the library, her legs swinging as she plots her next move, him smiling as he lets her win. This is what I called for that desperate night. Not just rescue, not just protection, but this: family, love, belonging. I called the most dangerous man I knew and asked for help, and he gave me everything. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.